Let's get to the bottom of this one. Unspoken truths that I miss one. Tap into the minds of the people, rather acknowledge before I dismiss one. Atheists, Muslim, Christians, Buddhists, they all got usage. All got perspective, it's a collective. Get to the bottom where the truth is, where the heart's uncovered. Where you detox from all of the lies you smothered. Where them tries could have killed you, but with faith you recover. Yup. Peel off the makeup, we finna take off. Never said it'd be a cakewalk. Meditate till we charged up. Execute goes regardless. Decalcify my pineal. Breaking language barriers, we saw millennials. Planets passing age rotations, down me we owe. So down me we know. Sometimes we can be slow, that's why my ears open. Every drop you add could complete the ocean. Speak up, play your part too. Been vulnerable, it's so hard to.
Peace, everyone. Kimberly Sunstein. We are the People's Podcast. And peace.
Peace. What's up?
Listen to this. I've been an ant all day, dude. I love it. Yeah, I've been an ant all day. It's dope. I'm so high.
Oh dear.
Love. I've been putting my foot down and loving with authority and just chilling.
That's good too. I've been doing all kinds of that, putting up boundaries and
teaching them too, healthy boundaries. They gotta learn to love themselves. Henry, am I pretty white?
What's up?
that's funny in so many levels. What's the I can't even make it not make sense.
Oh no! Now we're gonna get a backlash for this one. They're gonna be like,
no. This is funny. Listen. Yeah, it was my. So my niece was on what is it? Tag. She was on tag today, right? And some girl. This is what tonight's subject is about. Okay, this is about class or ass. What walk in the image of.
So it's funny because I was just reading that.
What do you think?
I was reading it and I'm like, what the fuzz am I gonna say here? You know what? The classy thing. We'll start with classy, and I don't know. I like to try and be classy. Sometimes I look like a sewer rat, but it's through action, right? Like,
right.
What's classy? Holding the door for someone, or just letting it slam in their face? You know.
Or is it energy and a vibe? Is it just like a chilled action of being and carrying yourself in a different light?
I think so. I don't think it's tied to monetary value necessarily whatsoever.
No, it's the image. It's the image that you want to be seen as, because that's how you feel about yourself, right? Like, you fuck with yourself.
Kinda. Oh, constantly.
I mean, you kind of like you, right? So like you got some kind of boundaries and standards for yourself. You're like, who cares if you don't fuck with me? I kind of fuck with me.
Well, I said my piece. Let's move it on down, because I definitely don't feel like ass. I'll tell you that.
No, so listen to this. This is what I was trying to say. On that thing, whatever it's called. What's it called again? Tag. She was on tag. She was like, oh, I don't know about that, but anyway, she was on tag, and some girl said to her, "You're awfully pretty." What she say? You're pretty, but you're real white. You're pretty for a white girl. You're pretty for a white girl.
Oh my, that's racist.
I'm Mexican. She's like, okay, I'm Mexican and Puerto Rican, and yeah, okay. Thank you.
That sucks. I had a friend who was Puerto Rican. I had a Puerto Rican friend. He was pretty much albino, and he got really sick people calling him white. I fucking believe it. He was
It was just the weirdest
100%
thing.
cool.
Like, yeah. There's so many levels that was just weird. Why did I need to know that? This kind of information. That was okay. Right? Right? All right. I'm glad you think that.
Classy.
Iris. Gilly, 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 gilly.
Hello.
Peace. What do you think of the title?
I like it
So,
actually.
so what to represent though?
Well, to me, I don't know if there has to be a distinction. Can't you be classy and a good piece of ass? Like can't you be both? Like
Can't you be a happy medium?
or
Can't you
both.
I'm with
fuck
Like
with
you.
you?
I
Hell.
mean within a relationship you can still be wow, I got some good ass too. Like why do we have to separate it all?
Why do you have to define yourself? What the hell? But why do you have to act and walk in a certain way? Why can't you just be? Whatever, dude. Because it's none of your business what anyone. Why would you put a definition upon who you are?
Well,
Why
the
would you?
problem is I don't think that
That's a
we are
society
judged
thing?
equally.
Huh?
I don't think that we're judged equally in terms of like whether or not we're, nobody walks around talking about men being classy or a piece of ass. Like I don't know why there has to be sort of a Madonna whore thing for women.
I see it sometimes.
I'm
I
so
see it sometimes.
confused though. Like, why? Why do people care? I'm so fucking confused. Because, like, if you put positive energy in and if you just love who you are, who cares
Mhm.
what people think of you to even put yourself in a definition of? Like, who cares? Be you.
I
Be
think I'm
aesthetically you, regardless. Who cares? If people worried about their own shit and stop worrying about other people's shit and mind their own business, who the fuck cares, dude? I don't care if someone come and said I look inebriated on here. Fuck you. I'm in love, aim high, and yeah, I make my own oil. What the fuck? I'm 50 and it's cold and the basement's cold and my body hurts. And like, hey, fuck you.
And like, hey,
I don't care. I'm high. The internet was shitty. Fuck.
I like the context. I like Gilly's context. We're moving with context. What's SGF Graham got to say about the class and ass?
SGF Graham, what do you about the title?
Peace, and I have absolutely nothing to say about it at this moment. I'm gonna let y'all talk, and then I will decide where I'm going with it.
Classy
That's
response.
classy. That's classy. I love the healthy boundaries people put up too, because at the end of the day, it's your life, man. You're painting this picture. Do it just
Oh,
So
do.
is this basically a discussion then about the Madonna whore complex?
I don't even know what that is,
You know
bro.
what?
Cause I don't put definition on shit. I'm not of this.
So I
I'm
believe
like,
it's Sigmund Freud who has the Madonna whore complex theory, right? Which
yeah,
is essentially saying that women are placed into two groups: the Madonna, or the mother, the wife. But unfortunately, because she is so pure in society's eyes and her husband's eyes, and obviously this was made when genders were pretty binary, in terms of how they're defined, but you know um that the husband's not necessarily, that men aren't necessarily sexually attracted to the women that they see as the mother, the wife, the one they want to put the ring on their finger. And then there's the whore, right? The one who, she's freaky, she's down for whatever, but she gets the crumbs, right? She doesn't get the ring, she doesn't get the house, she doesn't get the tax, she doesn't get, she doesn't get any of the benefits, but she gets the desire. And that, and the theory is that sexual attraction is then killed by one label, and romantic loving attraction is killed by the other label.
I think that's interesting, Gilly. I think a good way to bring that Madonna horror complex into the modern light for younger generations to understand would be the church girl versus OnlyFans girl debate, right? Because that seems to be the most widely regarded. I think that's how it's translated.
So
But it makes sense.
like, why? That is so odd.
But still the girl. It's still the girl. There's no like husband horror complex. There's no.
That's weird.
Husband.
Why? Why does it? None of that makes sense to me, though.
Well, because it's fucked, and it shouldn't make sense. But we do that, right? I mean, I think.
Who does?
Oh, come on!
Let's whore up the
dudes.
Let's whore up the dudes. Let's do like a nice image of a guy coming home and he's taking his work boots off, right? Boom, make it sexual, right? Hot.
What? None of that makes sense.
But the
sexualizing
thing about the
men.
theory is that you can only be sexually attracted to the OnlyFans girl or guy or whatever, and you can only be romantically and in love with the wifey, right? The one you want to wife up, that's the one you love, but you don't want to fuck her, and it kills your sexual attraction, is what the theory is.
What's that?
Isn't it fucked? It's a fucked up thing, but people do it.
Who does?
Think
you
about
said we, though. I want to know who we are.
Think about people who have all these affairs but never leave their spouses.
I have no clue what you're talking about.
I don't know, but whatever you got, I want some of. So afterwards,
no, that's hilarious. I am not of that. That is weird. That is odd to me.
It's wrong, but it happens. It exists.
I don't know who does that.
You've never been classified as either or ever in your life.
No.
The men who have wanted you have also wanted to marry you.
No.
I never talked to him about that shit.
Or the men who wanted to, the men who wanted to.
Maybe you should have talked to him. You would have.
No, the people I did talk to about that stuff, they had to heal themselves. If you don't love you, I can't love you.
Yeah, Freud was kind of fucked up.
Because I'm growing. I'm learning. I'm just figuring this shit out, too. What the hell? But I'm doing it with grace and love.
Freud was very fucked
up. Fuck somebody else up, though. Get yourself together and love yourself correctly before you fuck up somebody else.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I think it's a fucked up theory, but I do see that it happens. I see that it happens all the time. I've had it happen.
I can't. I don't relate to it. I don't know. I don't see it. I don't pay attention to it. It's really none of my business.
Sure it is, because Kimberly, we're the People Podcast.
I'm not of it. I'm not of it. So I don't know. I don't see it. I choose to see what I want to see in my life. And all I see is love. I see people that have love and that just spread love and that want to grow and better in themselves. Everybody's just winging it. The only people that judge themselves will pass judgment on somebody else. It's not of me. I'm already judging me every day. I'm trying to not. Because I'm just figuring this shit out too. And all I want to do is pass love and want to see people grow. Anything else is none of my business. I think there's pretty fucked up people out there, and I just don't pay attention to it because it's not of me. I surround myself around good energy, people that are also loving themselves and learning to love and growing. I got a family, and anybody else I don't fuck with, I just don't fuck with. I don't care what you think of me because I'm figuring this shit out too. And you know what? I fuck with me because I know I'm not of this. And I know I gather love. And I only surround myself around like-minded, smart, intelligent, sapiosexual beings that mind their own fucking business and grow and want to see love.
I agree.
I'm a gatherer, so I can't see anything outside of it. I can't agree with Henry sometimes. So I know.
Well, you're assuming that I agree with Freud's theory.
No, I don't think you agree with it neither. You're relating with me.
Ah. You
Or
know
I
what I
wouldn't be
really
talking
loved
to you
about the
neither.
description today that I have questions about though? All the different names for ass.
Is crazy to me.
All the different names for ass. That was my favorite thing, and the thing I'm most curious about
I
where you
don't
were
fucking
going with
know.
it.
You know what I love more than anything at the end? It said, what did it say the definition of ass was at the end? It cracked me up how the universe worked today. I've been vibing all motherfucking day. Hi. I've been loved and past loved all day. All day.
Well, it looks good on you.
Thanks. It's been a great day. I parented.
Good.
I ate three of my youth today and made them love themselves and get their shit together.
Did you just say you ate 3 of your youths?
Yeah.
That's what
It's
it
a food
sounded
chain.
like.
It's a food chain around here. Like I told my sister that if she don't, do right, I will eat her and raise her youth as my own because the food chain. And I tell my nieces and nephews that I will fuck them up, and I ain't playing with them if they don't love themselves and start doing right. Because I fuck with them. They're dope. They're good. They're people. They're smart. They're growing. They love themselves. Get themselves together. They're good people. I love people. I love people that love themselves even more. I got some dope people. I love y'all.
You know what's funny? I love people, but I tend to love people who either have lost themselves or struggle with loving themselves.
Thanks.
Um, and it's just I'm it's not good or bad. It just happens to be a
Thanks.
quality that I've always had. I always look for people who seem to be on the fringe, who seem to be ignored, who seem, and those are the people that I tend to love just sort of unconditionally without even knowing them.
Yeah, strength,
I mean,
man.
that doesn't mean that that's always the people I'm attracted to,
No,
but those
facts.
are the people that like my heart is
Yeah.
like, ugh, because I get it.
I fuck with you. Yeah, because I started fucking with me though, right?
Hmm.
Once I started fucking with me, I started realizing it's none of my business whether they fuck with them or not. You can't stop me from loving you. You can't stop me from fucking with you. But if you don't fuck with you, I can't fuck with you because I fuck with me. You feel me?
I feel you.
I'm painting this motherfucker. I don't care how you paint yours. It's not my. It's none of my business. I'm out of my own. I'm walking my own lane.
I'm always impressed with how much control you seem to have over that.
It's peace, baby. I got inner peace.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what you're doing. I'm striving
Mm-hmm.
for perfection of self, not of you, because it ain't my life. It's yours. I'm owning mine and freeing myself from myself because I can't control anything outside of myself. I'm loving me correctly. Don't be mad.
I'm not mad. I'm
I'm
not
not
mad.
talking to you. I'm just saying, like in general, people really should feel that way. They should be like,
So, do you think that you can go through a dark depression or
yeah,
grief or something like that and still love yourself?
yeah, for
Because it
sure.
might not look like you're loving yourself. Sometimes
Yeah,
it can look like you are feeding yourself the wrong things,
yeah,
doing the wrong things, saying
yeah.
the wrong things, um, hurting yourself, looking
That's
for relief in the
judgment.
wrong ways. But
That's
it
judgment.
doesn't mean that you don't love yourself necessarily.
That's
It's that
judgment.
grief that you're trying to escape,
Right. That's judgment.
or that you can't escape.
That's agreements you're taking upon yourself. That's agreements that you're taking upon yourself.
Mm.
It's a choice.
Mm. I
Honestly,
disagree. I
if,
disagree. I think
yeah,
there are
but that's
some.
not my problem. That's just is just
No,
my
it's not your
opinion.
problem, but but that's how we have the dialogue about it, right? Because it's okay
Right,
to
and
feel
you're
the way
allowed
Right.
to
you do.
listen. You're allowed to feel the way you do, honestly, and I'm not mad at you because not it's not my life. Like it's your reality how you feel. Like I appreciate you and I love you and you are entitled to feel the way you feel because I don't stay in my ways, right? I
It's not
understand.
just about me though. There are people that are really hurting and do
I
not have
believe
a choice
you.
over it.
No, I believe you.
There's biochemical things going
I
on.
get
There's,
it. No, I believe
there's,
it. I believe it.
and
But
so,
none of that's my not my problem. I'm freeing
It's
myself
mine.
of this. I'm freeing myself of this, and I'm only showing love and light because that's all I can control is self. Anything outside of self, I cannot control. I can't allow it to control me. I can't. I can't control everything. I only can control self. Everything outside of me is none of my business, really, because I can't control it anyhow.
which
I
is the
put
truth about people who struggle, but then don't find that inner peace like you have. It's the same thing. It's just, it's
and I
just
can
that they're
empathize with
unable to
that. I
find
show
that.
empathy to that. I do. I swear I do. I
Oh, I
do.
believe that.
I receive what you're saying. I do. I can't change that, but I receive it, and I love you regardless of anything because I see who you are, and I love everything about you because I see you're growing and you're loving you correctly. Finally, I'm proud of you. So give yourself grace. But I see who you are. I fuck with all y'all for real. The long way. I love me some Henry. That's my son.
You brought
That's,
me back.
I
I
love
got a
me.
call.
Lizzie, I love me some you. SGF fam, I love me some you.
Most definitely, and the feeling is definitely mutual for the group and you. Well, you are part of the group, but you know what I mean.
So
Well, even when
Kimberly's
I
loving
started the
light.
show, even when I started the show 8 minutes late, I apologize, Henry. I apologize. Even when I started the show 8 minutes late, I was like, you know what? It is my show, and I know I'm late, but you know what? My niece needed to hear this because the universe said, listen, this is the perfect time to speak to her. Let her love herself. Show her.
Well, it's fashionably late,
Oh
and
my
that's
God.
classy.
How dare of me? I don't care.
You
Fuck
know,
it.
Kimberly, you
Why not?
Kimberly, I think you have a way of trying to address issues by putting your own boundaries up. I guess I'm the other one who's calm like a bomb all the time. So if something's pissing off in society, you bring it to me. I'm like, oh, you know what? That is bullshit. And I'll say something
I'm
about
doing
it.
that shit
You
too.
know?
I said, Henry, I can't do it. I'm all about peace. Will you take this from me?
I do it
I'm
as long
like
as my
you and
people
Henry
permit.
plus.
I love me some
So
Henry. I love me some Henry.
I'm like the both of you plus. Like I get angry on behalf of other people too. Real quick.
That's
And
crazy.
I don't know. It's probably going to be the downfall of me if not something that hopefully might make a difference one day. But I hate to see people hurting. I hate to see hurting people being mistreated and misunderstood, or ignored. And at the same time, I really do love everybody. I don't like everybody. I mean, I'm not going to pretend I do,
Oh, I
but
do.
but
I
I
love everybody. I don't even
but I
care.
love everybody. And when I'm not like faced with something or whatever, I tend to be pretty chill and pretty, happy go lucky. But I've had a year that's really sort of made me look at that. I've had several years. What the fuck am I saying? I've had several years that have really made me look at that. And this past year in particularly. And Yeah. And at the same time, sometimes I get mad on my behalf now, which is new, which is different. Anger used to, for a long time, was an emotion that I didn't like. I didn't like to feel it. I honored it in other people, but holding on to it personally is just not something I like to do.
No, it's heavy.
It's heavy, but for the first time, I'm trying to work with my anger
Yeah, I
and
love that.
acknowledge it.
You're taking yourself accountable. I love that. That's being mindful. I'm proud of you. I love your strength. You're so strong. Like I love how you're loving you lately. I'm so proud of you. Like in a lot of many ways. Like
Thank you.
yeah, I'm proud of you.
I'm inclined to believe that Gilly's pretty much tough as nails. Through a bunch of shit. Right? You can feel good about yourself in that aspect 100%, right?
Let's not test it though. Let's not.
No, but
I'm done
listen.
testing my
You know,
shit. I am done.
you know what
I'm
I love
done.
though the most? You know what I love the most is though that you're being mindful of yourself and you're giving yourself grace and you're not beating yourself up over anything anymore. I love how you're taking accountability and changing and you're watering yourself very correctly with healthy boundaries. You
I'm
only
working on it.
can allow what you accept. Anything outside of that is none of your business because you can't change someone else. People put themselves in the position they want to be in your life by choice.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't fuck with you. I can't fuck with you, and that's not my problem. I don't care. Because I'm not worried about who is beside me. I'm worried about freeing myself from it all. I'm looking at the bigger picture. And I'm all about love and light and shining and just peace and love. I am whatever I say I am. Anything else is none of my business. I have control and inner peace. I have jumped out of a moving vehicle for peace.
For peace.
I love me. And I fuck with me. And if you don't, okay. Well, thank
I
you.
love you.
Thank you. I don't know. Thumbs up.
Someone thumbs up?
No, I love thumbs. I just, I have a thing for thumbs up. If I fuck with you, I promise you, it probably ain't on your thing. I remove it. But like at the end of the day, like when people give me a thumbs up in business, it's almost like I'm talking business with you, and you're giving me a thumbs up.
Context is important though because it means fuck you in text message.
Yeah, that's what I'm
hate
talking
a
about.
fat thumb in text message. I do. It's really triggering to me, that fucking fat thumb.
And if
I
I am
pissed if I
talking to
send
you a
it to
business,
you.
if I'm talking to a business, you give me a
Huh?
thumbs. And when I come to a business and you give me a thumbs up in return,
Oh, well, that's different. I'm
I
just
will
talking
remove
about if
it.
you
I'll
message
remove it
somebody something
once
and
or
they
twice,
say
and
says
afterwards, I will
that's a
approach
fat
you and
thumb.
tell you I don't like it and it's disrespectful to me.
Well, I think Gilly's onto something though. I think there's certain aspects where a thumbs up, like if you're like, what time? 3 o'clock, thumbs up. Okay, we've established that this is not a that type of relationship. But once again, I don't like texting to begin with, so that thumbs up
You're
pissed me off.
not. I'm telling you right now, I don't tolerate it. I
Maybe
promise
it's a
you.
I don't
neurodivergent
tolerate
thing too, because you miss so much tone. You miss so
it.
much tone and facial expression in text message. Plus, you've
Oh,
got
Period.
like a mind that wanders a million places and you're like tied
Period.
onto that phone. It drives me insane. Like, at least when you're talking, you can like move around, right? But like text messaging for long periods of time, hard for me.
yes, me too. Oh gosh, yeah, it is. I don't know. Who's all tuning in, by the way? We got Lizzie Sorrow, and that's okay because my alarm goes off every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. and I was late. Yeah, we don't care. That's okay.
You know
We're
what?
people. We don't care. That's awesome.
You know
We're
what
glad you're here.
though?
What's up?
Right now, Juicy, we love you, man. For real, for real. Tell Juicy we
Yeah, I hope
love him.
everything's okay.
Just tell him you love
Hope
him. Like for
we
real.
love you, JC. I love you,
Like
and I hope
because
hope
at the
your
end of
loved
the
ones
day,
are doing well.
people going through it, and we can appreciate it because we're going through it.
I love people. I can be the first to say maybe I don't love everybody.
I do, and I don't care because it's not my problem if you don't love you. It's not my problem what you perceive of me. It's not my problem what you think. It's not my problem with anything else because I only can control self. That's it.
Well, I just think love's a strong emotion. If I try to love everybody, I probably get let down. But if I
That's not my
Okay,
problem.
but it's like
That's
the
a
Greeks, they
perception.
have how many words for love? Because there are different types of love. There's love for
Mhm.
your family, there's love for humanity, there's love for a romantic partner or soulmate,
I love
there's love for
everyone.
yourself,
I just
and
love.
they're all a different type of love.
I just love. I just love. I just love. I love everyone. I just
Me
the
love.
the
too,
Greeks,
but
I just love. Shit, anything outside of that ain't my problem because I'd rather love than hate because that shit's heavy, and I'm all about peace, love, and I say what I talk of. I don't. I'm not a hypocrite. At the end of the day, I fuck with me.
I fuck with the Greeks. If you really want to if you want to delve in and really get some solid, positive male role modeling, look at how the Greek Spartans kind of hung out,
okay,
and
the
they got very
Spartans,
toned down.
yes. The Spartans,
They got,
yes, but there were also some things in Greek culture that weren't good, like pediastry
oh no, there's a ton.
and like
Basically,
dragging women by horse and cart over rocks. I mean, that wasn't cool.
so
And then,
most of history it was not the 2000s, and I think people tend to forget that this sometimes. Like there was plagues and inquisitions and Barry Manilow and all this shit happened,
Barry
and like
Manilow, poor
and
Barry. The
I
fuck did
don't
he
have fun
do?
with Barry Manilow. But we
Henry,
forget that, and mostly I'm bringing up the Spartans because they were like gay as shit.
Henry.
Yeah, because the theory is that you would fight harder to defend your lover than you would for just some random person. And I think that's relevant. I just heard on NPR, so I just heard it on the radio tonight, so I don't know how accurate it is. Don't
That's
rely on
funny.
me for the fucking world news. But that
Uh,
now transgender and gay people have to be closeted again in the military.
it's strange to me.
So that's a problem. So that's a pretty relevant thing you just brought up about the Spartan.
It's interesting because most of the people who showed me how to put on makeup, they like carried 240 Bravos and did tours of duty and pulled their friends out of helicopters and shit and jumped out of helicopters, but real pussy shit, right? So that's where I learned most of my good makeup shit from. So it's going to be interesting. I don't know if things are interesting. I can most assuredly tell you I've never been. I don't even recognize what a closet. I'm Kimberly on the closet issue. I mean, you can look at me one way or the other. It doesn't matter.
I don't care.
I don't believe in the closet no more. There ain't no going back. It's funny because fuck that shit. Not being yourself causes you to suffer real bad, pertinently for me, it was drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Control
sucked
yourself
it up.
and own yourself. Be empathetic.
Lizzie says, I don't know, but I love the Romans. History came from somewhere,
Well, all roads lead to Rome.
And it was built in an egg. Did you know that? What? I'm dead. Lizzie Sorrow, I'm sorry to hear it. Rest in peace, Lizzie Sorrow. You will be missed on our show. I'm just trying to fuck with Kimberly now. She's such a good, really such a good move. We're moving up. We're moving forward.
Are we going to talk about ass anymore, or have we moved on?
I thought
we have moved on. We went from ass to Madonna Horicon. We went from ass to
It's the
Freud.
same thing, classy or not. It's the same thing, because can't you be both? Can't you be classy and a real good fucking lay?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Who cares? Who cares? Be you. Be authentic. Why put yourself in a category? Who cares?
So are you saying, like,
back to
well,
the
let's say if
90s
you
with
try to,
anti-labels?
SGF
let's
Graham,
say, okay,
you have something to say?
I've just been laughing at y'all. Let me just keep it on.
Do you really care though? What people think of you?
I don't know. Well, depends on if I care about them, I guess. You know, I really don't care what people I don't really care about have to say, because they don't know me. I didn't give them a chance to even get to know me. I don't care. But if they within my circle, I might care if they have a why or whatever. If they just have a feeling with no inclination of why, then you just probably letting your true feelings out, and you probably shouldn't have been in my circle to begin with. So I would gladly get rid of you.
Yeah, we're mirroring. We're allowing what we're accepting.
Well, and there should be context to that too, because
with healthy boundaries.
so
of course,
for instance, I'm not necessarily somebody who cares what people think of me if I don't know them and care about what they think necessarily, you know, but sometimes people's opinion of you can affect things. It can affect your career, it can affect your social life, it can affect the support that you have or don't have.
What's meant to me shall be for me, regardless.
Well,
That's not anything outside of that is none of my out of my control. I only control
more
me.
than enough to know that it does matter. Sometimes what people think of you, and not from a personal value. I'm not saying from a personal
I can't
value.
relate to
It's
that.
not who I am naturally.
I can't.
But it is who I've become, and at times, because it's had consequences on my life, consequences on people I love and their lives. And so
things that are out of your control.
Things that are out of my control, but it doesn't mean that my nervous system knows that.
I know, but forgive yourself of that.
I forgive myself. That's not the
So
point.
then now grow from what you've learned. Now grow from what you've learned.
I got an idea. What we're talking about, guys, what we're talking about might be tied to notoriety. Let's say you don't necessarily care what people think about you. So because of that, you go around just lighting things on fire and leaving buildings burning behind you.
No, be mindful.
You're probably gonna be notarized. Your notoriety level is gonna go up with someone who might burn you to death. You don't want to be known as the person who's burning things.
You know what I'm going to be known as?
It depends.
You know what I'm going to be known as? The person that passed with the biggest heart. I love love, and I love life. I'm freeing myself of anything that is now none of my business that I can't control, because I only can control self. I am freeing myself and allowing to be. That's not is anything that's not in my control, that's not of me, shall not be. I'm attracting what I want. Anything outside of that is not my problem.
Well, I think organisms with pure intent are probably not going to worry so much about what people think about them. I think the more anxiety you have and low self-esteem, the more you're going to cook up conspiracy theories about what others think and things about you. It's an easy way to get buried in a hole of self-doubt and self-deprecating bullshit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that it can be imposed on people. If anybody's ever been the victim of narcissistic abuse, particularly long term, if anybody's ever been the victim of post-relationship abuse, which can be more dangerous and worse and more destructive than the abuse that was happening in the relationship. Like if anybody's ever been the victim of shunning or ostracizing by whole communities, including those that they were born to.
I know
Um,
somebody right now starting that whole stage of what you just said. Just said after this show, please stay on. I want to talk to you. I know somebody exactly what you're doing right now, going explaining right now
and
is going
and
through
and
that.
I'm
And
not just
may need you to shine some light onto them, please.
yeah, I would love to talk to them because it's not just me.
No,
There's
they're
a
in that phase right
there's
now. They're in that phase now that you're just coming out of.
yeah, and it's and hindsight is 2020.
Yeah,
But it's not always, because oftentimes it comes with hidden things and
yeah.
gaslighting. And so you fill in the blanks the best you can with your imagination to a point where people think you're delusional. And it's not that you're delusional, it's that things are purposely being hidden from you, while also things are purposely being suggested to you at the same time. And then, there are systems that are hard to play within, or who don't recognize necessarily the facts of these things, and somebody who can play within that system, no matter how good they are, is going to come out
You're
looking,
awesome.
looking all right, because at least they complied with the rules, right? They complied with the rules that
Oh, that's it.
supposedly matter. So it
Sit
can destroy a person's sense of identity. It can change their whole life, which can cause an existential crisis, which can cause a
and I'm gonna
complete loss
show
of
you before
identity. It can
that.
alienate people from the communities that they're from. It can
You also
alienate people from the lives they knew, from the skills that they had, and then it affects every relationship going forward. So I don't think that it's fair to label people who are struggling with self-confidence as somebody who obviously did things wrong, when most likely they were the victims. I mean, think about
I
how
didn't put
mental
that much in it.
institutions treat people who go in there for help, or
I put
hospitals
water
treat
with
people
it.
who go in there for help. I was
I
told
put
I had
water with
psychotic
it. It's talking
disorder
about
because I
yellow.
said I was being abused. Who the fuck did an investigation to know whether or not I was being abused? And how is that psychotic disorder? I think that it allows them, we go into these places and we don't realize that we got a price tag on our ass. And the better our insurance is, the more our insurance is going to pay for, the more medications and the more diagnoses. And the more you get lost in that and isolated in that and imprisoned in systems where people can't see your bars and they can't see your cuffs. All they see is you
That makes
screaming
is
and
that for
growling
nausea?
like a fucking animal.
It's for nausea. That'll help you.
How do we
So
prevent
I
that?
think we got to be
I know, but
careful how
you
we
know, it's for
label people
nausea.
who
So
are
you
going
stop
through
that
shit.
feeling.
Hold on, Gary. Kimberly, honey, can you mute the mic real quick? Oh my
Yes.
God, that's killing me. Okay,
You know,
how do we prevent it? I mean, listening, I think, is a big thing. I don't think anybody listens. My biggest problem I had with a fucked up household growing up was that no one was listening, and I was scared that I wouldn't get help, and it would split everything up.
so mine wasn't necessary. I mean, mine wasn't perfect growing up, but there wasn't outside chaos, and I had places that were good. I had respite. Um, and I had a fucking iron fucking will. Like I had balls. But but uh the uh, post during and post my marriage, and the way that my family played a role in that, and the way that things sort of played out with courts and their roles. um I think education is a big thing. I was just turned on to somebody named RD Lang, who was a
Artie
psychiatrist,
Lang?
who was an anti-psychiatry psychiatrist. And one of the things that, I got to read some books, I got to learn more about him. But one of the things that he did was he did not believe in medicating people that have been diagnosed with some serious mental illnesses. um, because what he saw was a lot of times those things were a result of abuse or isolation or alienation or misunderstanding or simply a neurodivergence that didn't fit into society very well. Instead, what he did was he listened to them.
Uncover your mic, Gilly. Keep going.
You can't hear me?
No, I can hear you. I just wanted you to.
Oh. Okay, so instead what he did was he listened to them. He validated their beliefs. You know, he used behavioral sort of things, and he treated them like people. He treated them as humans. He didn't turn them into an experiment or anything like that. And it was really close to my heart because, you know, I've had some friends that I've lost in the past few years to suicide. Um, who were diagnosed with some pretty heavy shit and medicated against their will, um, hospitalized or isolated against their will. It did not do anything to help. In fact, I think it aggravated the mental illness, certainly the depression. When a person can't feel a sense of autonomy over their lives, I mean, that's essentially what happens, you know, societally throughout history with cultures that have been oppressed, with genders that have been oppressed, with, you know, and now we're doing it to people who have mental illness, possibly because they're suffering from sort of PTSD or CPTSD that's misdiagnosed as a billion other things. And these are smart people who might be neurodivergent and might have a mad take on the world, but it's a mad fucking world. And who the fuck isn't angry? If you can look at this world and not be angry about what's happening to people on a regular basis, on a regular fucking basis, what's happening to us, how we're being separated, how we're being isolated, how we're being turned against one another, how we're judging one another on a regular fucking basis, how we're being taught from birth to hurt and hate certain groups or to protect our peace, to the point where we just put people we don't understand on the fringes and say, fuck y'all, I don't want you in my cities. That's a problem. We are going so far away from humanity.
We lost track really, really hard. I agree with you. I think we have all the keys, all the things in the toolbox regarding advancements in modern medicine and both mental health and, you know, drugs and procedures and what we can do, and we're not doing it right. It's all being made for profit. You know, we got all whole. I know doctors who just push drugs. I know them that don't. Man, I know so many you wouldn't want to take your dog to, you know, and
I got shot up with drugs because I wanted to go outside and smoke a cigarette. I'm a fucking adult who wanted to go outside and smoke a cigarette. And they held me down and shot me up with drugs and gave me 6 different diagnoses that I've never heard of and put medications in my charts that I've never been on. You know how much money they kept off of hospitalizing me and medicating me, and how much more money they're going to make off of the new diagnoses they have? And I'm fucking locked in with fucking handcuffs. No, what I need is practical things in my life to change. And that's what you do. Like, you know, you think about it with addiction, how we treat people who suffer with addiction. Like, and it doesn't have to be that way. That it, you know, America, land of the free, it's supposed to be the freest country in the world, yet we have mass incarceration and at disproportionate numbers by race. You
I
know,
mean, go in the gas station. If you go in the gas station, it costs like $7 for a bag of chips. I keep saying it, and it's like I was 3 something for gas. And it
so
costs astronomically more for chips than it does gasoline.
Right.
And
So
that's just,
imagine you're somebody who struggles to make money for whatever reason, because we can't all be CEOs of billion-dollar companies. It doesn't work like that. We can't all have great houses and great lives and great spouses. And it doesn't work that way. Capitalism wouldn't work if we could all have the best, right? We need somebody to flip our burgers. And that's nothing against people flipping burgers. Thank God for people who pick up our trash and flip our burgers and do all these jobs, right? But some people can't even work. Some people go through things where they can't even get out of bed most days. Not and so and all of a sudden they're no longer valid. Not valid to be in relationships, not valid to be in the conversation. I thank God for this fucking podcast, because I don't know who watches it or not, but it damn sure saves my life every fucking week, that I feel like I have other people in the world to talk to, because nobody likes you when you're down.
well,
Like,
I think it's a matter of time before we get, you know what, fuck that. You know, no one's shutting it down, but I think more people talking, more people doing something about it, you know. There's a bunch of drastic things I want to say and just cannot say. But I think in time I will be able to say all of them. And I think collectively people will start getting what you got to do now. You know, we should be flourishing. We really all should be flourishing. And and there's so many people trying to set us right back to the damn Stone Age that it's scary. And obviously I'm not going to get into politics, and it's not politics, it's a stab fact. The distribution of wealth is whacked out everywhere,
they're
all over.
putting people
What
in
the fuck is anybody
survival mode,
fighting
right?
for still?
They're putting us in survival mode. Who functions the best in survival mode? It messes with you cognitively. It messes with you relationally. It messes, it messes with every aspect of your life. Every aspect. And there are the exceptions. There are the people who, when they are just down, they rise. And beautiful, absolutely beautiful. But there are some people who broken breaks. It does. And until they are given love, until somebody is willing to stand by their side and stand up for their cause, until they are shown a reason that there is hope, they're not going to be able to rise. Because the reality is most of us, our cognitive functioning goes down, our physical health gets affected. That's the cause. A lot of people suspect it's not just genetics, but of autoimmune disorders that cause things like chronic fatigue. You talk about massive amounts of survival skill or survival mode that then results in loss of relationships. So now you're talking about isolation and grief. You got to add that to survival mode, right? And then you got to take on the burden of everybody now has a label for you. Everybody now wants a piece of you, wants to either tell you something or outskirt you. Like, think about all the people who are going to go to sleep on the streets tonight that nobody even wants to look at because it hurts their heart to look at them. We got to start looking at people with mental illness.
Hey, hold on. Can you pause for a second?
Sure.
Hold on. I think you're talking about my niece.
Well, I want to talk to your niece then.
Hold on. She's getting on.
Oh shit.
Do you want to join?
Yeah, it's a mental health nightmare. We're past crisis.
But it's not just mental health; it's medical health. Like some of the things,
Oh
like
yeah,
the fatigue and all of that. Think about dementia. It's not a mental health problem. It's a medical problem being treated like a mental health problem. And these
they
things
go
can
hand
be
in hand,
induced.
mind and body. It's all part of the
Things
body.
can
The
be
whole
induced by
thing
the
is.
abuser, whether the abuser or the oppressor is a system or a person or a group. And then they can induce these things in you and then put you into some sort of medical fucking prison. I mean, there are reasons why there are whole communities that it's stigmatized to get help or treatment when they're going through something. that it's stigmatized to be weak in this society, and it's seen as weakness to fall or to struggle, or it's seen as a burden to bring someone's vibe down, to bring someone's energy down. Well, fuck. So sorry.
What do you? What if you're gonna be that weak? What the fuck do we need to be strong for? Hunting mammoths, fighting? We shouldn't. We should be using our fucking mind power for bigger and better things.
What do you mean?
My niece said she only goes to institutions and rehabs because people say that she needs to, not because she wants to.
Yeah, it's its own sort of incarceration, and it's because there's big money in that, just like there's big monies in putting people in jail. There's
How can they
big
free
money in
themselves
putting
from
people in
that?
the hospital.
How can they free themselves from that?
Well, you know,
Bigger.
that's something that I want to commit myself to learning, because I don't have all the answers for that yet. But I
Who's
think
the
that it's
government
going to
for?
take a matter of education. I think it's going to take some sort of class action lawsuit, probably.
Who is the government for? It's for the people. That means the people need to stop cucking out and fucking do something about it.
It's
Everybody's
for
just
the
trying to chase
people.
their own
It's for the
tail.
people, but not all people equally. And we would be ignoring history to say that that's true. We would be ignoring present to say that that's true. It's not for
What?
the people right now. It's for the oligarchs. And I'm going to get myself in trouble. So I'm just going to be a little bit more quiet right now. But the reality is there are people that are still living with covert oppression every single day,
Wow.
covert judgment every single day, who do not have the same rights because they do not have the same money, the same access. Maybe they don't have the same brain skills. I mean, we are not all born equal in terms of even our abilities. Not everybody is born with this exceptional talent. Not everybody is born with this exceptional intellect.
Why do people
And what
want
do
to
you
put
do? Or
themselves
not
in that
everybody is
category,
born with a
though?
supportive family.
Why would people want to put themselves in that category and have that kind of opinion?
It's not a matter of opinion, it's a matter of fact. And that doesn't mean that they're less valuable. The problem with society is that we put people on a scale, on some hierarchy scale. Oh, this person is worth my time, this person is not worth our time.
Why?
On a grander scale, everybody is worth your fucking time. Everybody comes with a lesson to
Why
teach
don't you
you,
just
a
be
different
mindful and
skill.
want to grow and receive what is in front of you and learn? Give
Well,
yourself
some people
grace
aren't
and just
invited to the
grow and
class
love
to
yourself
learn.
and be mindful of others and
Some
just
people aren't invited to the class to learn. And the bigger problem is some people aren't invited to the class to teach.
those that know though. And those that don't won't. And that's none
But
of my
those that
business.
know aren't necessarily invited to inform other people because it
That's
bothers
not
people.
their place.
Because it risks changing things, right?
And it's not their
And we
place. Yeah, it's
show
not their
throughout
place.
history that changing things sometimes requires war.
That's not their place.
I'm not declaring war, by the way.
So hold up, guys. I wanted to explain my point when I said earlier about cavemen and fire is that we're getting typecast into a certain thing in society. We're not a formative society anymore. We're not living in caves. Hell, we're past the industrial age, right? We're not dying in coal mines to build a better future. I believe that we have arrived at the point of utopia that we were all working for.
Oh,
But
striving
something
for.
terrible. Wait, but something terrible happened. They still want to force people by making them stupid and sick into thinking that we have to keep working in coal mines. Well, so we got a few here who are doing really, really well on the backbreaking labor of a shit ton of people. And I don't think that's necessarily good. I think we missed the boat on the utopia, and all of the resources that we could be using to build the best possible world for ourselves and our species is being squandered on a few people. And they're just happy enough to let the people eat each other. The majority, so many people coming to me for drug, alcohol, and advice for stress are freaking counselors and therapists. And I have seen this over and over again. They're in a lot of fucking trouble. which means everybody else is in a lot more trouble, which means therapy has to be done between people, communities, growing communities of people who give a shit. The more people who start giving a shit and not worrying about financing their fucking side by side or, God forbid, a yacht are going to do something better. But right now,
But
we
what
are
if we stop
incredibly
labeling
divided.
everything as therapy? Like, conversation in general tends to be about what's going on in the world and what's going on in your lives, right? And
Healthy people give each other therapy.
Huh?
Yes.
Healthy people give each other therapy.
Heal people.
Everybody does to a certain extent, but healthy people doing it, it's called friendship, right? When
Heal
it's an
people,
unhealthy
heal people.
person who's invited to the party, it's called a burden.
Heal people, heal people.
Healed people heal people, hurt people heal people often. Because hurt people know what the fuck it's like to be hurt.
And we learned a lesson. We allow what we accept. Can't beat ourselves up forever.
We don't always accept it. We don't always accept it. If not, there wouldn't have been so many rights for, or so many battles fought for freedom for different groups.
Not my problem. I'm not of that reality. Peace and love, and I only can control what I can control.
Right, but thank God there are people throughout history that have been of that reality, even if it wasn't their own.
I accept everybody, except if they don't accept everybody, right? Does that make sense to a degree? I'm not too big on the Nazis.
People put themselves in the position they want to be in my life. Anything outside of that is none of my business. I can't control it.
So think about. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I've been speaking a lot.
No, I must have a lag. I apologize.
Arby
so
needed
think
this.
About subtle ways that we do that, right? Culturally now. So it's something to say, I got to protect my peace, right? That's a real popular thing to say. I got to protect my peace. I got to protect my peace. Often you're protecting your peace at the isolation of another who cannot find one.
No.
Even if it's not intentional, it happens.
No, you're freeing yourself.
Sometimes
from
protecting
that
your
thought.
peace is not getting involved in issues that don't have anything to do with you. But think about the civil rights movement. What would have happened with that?
No, I appreciate those that did. Peace? That's not my place. That's not my place. I'm a gatherer. I know my purpose. I'm a gatherer. And
did you bring us here to talk about this?
And everybody does have a different place in the system, and they're all important. I see what you're saying there, and I can respect that. I can respect that.
That's not the point why I'm here. I'm here to learn for whatever's meant for me to learn through here, and I will free myself and be on a different frequency of. And those that aren't on that same level will not be in my life. That's just how it goes.
But here's the thing, you say that, but at the end of the day, you saw me and you invited me in, right?
Because I feel you, and I saw you growing, and you needed to learn something from me, and I needed to learn something from you.
And thank you for inviting me in, and thank you, because I am not always the bringer of peace these days, even as much as peace and love. Even at my wedding, I couldn't think of what to say, and I made a toast to peace and love. Sounded stupid as fuck, but that's all I could think. I was happy that day, and I made a toast to peace and love, because that's what I was always about, until my peace became so unimportant, until my children's peace became so unimportant, became a burden to people.
Out of your control. Out of your control. You learn.
I've always been, since I was little, somebody who notices people sitting on the side of the street with nobody to take them in. And it brought me peace to be able to go and sit with them and hear their stories and spend some time with them. That brings me peace.
Yeah, you grew, and you found that. You found your what was meant for you.
Well, but
I think the biggest problem is
every day we have to learn, and we all have a path and a purpose.
So now
why are there so many
more me?
We have to free
why are there so many people on the street?
We have to free ourselves
from that thought and reality. That's a really complex question with a complex answer. But mental illness is probably one of the biggest things. And is it mental illness, or is it that they couldn't find a way to keep up with society?
No, it is
or the
mental illness.
pressures
I
of
agree with that.
Hold
society.
on. I wasn't done, please. How
Oh,
why are there so many people
I'm
on the
gonna
street?
mute my mic.
The
we
first
listen to hear.
I the first thing people say to me is that maybe a lot of them want to be there or deserve to be there. That's the first thing people say to me.
Yeah.
Where do you go from there? I might be homeless right now. Now, people are going to say you have a place to go, and yeah, I'm sure people will say, ultimately, we are born. You'd feel alone to a certain degree at certain points in your life, and that's because we largely are in our own brain. But where do you go? I feel like there's a lot of buildings being wasted, right? That the one of the biggest problems is that there's just not more community centers. I think
Well,
I think a
doesn't
lot of
Detroit
people.
have a big movement of going into abandoned houses and fixing them up? And the problem with that is that not everybody is or they let people buy houses for $1, for $12, for a very low price for a house. But these are houses that are pretty close to being condemned, and so you still have to prove that you have the money to fix it up. And what if you can't prove that? What if you have the resourcefulness to do that, but you can't prove that?
It's hard to prove that as a person. Like, I don't
Or
know,
what if
7 years ago.
can't and you need somebody to come along your side? You need a team of people. Sometimes people need a team of people to come on their side, and because they're judged as a burden for needing, because it is a crime to need, like, society is hurting today. It is a trauma response, this hyper independence, this you do it yourself. At the end of the day, you stand on your 2 feet. No, that's as much of a trauma response as I can't do it myself.
Now, if that's trauma response, right? That I don't believe that we listen. I think it stems a lot from listening. And we got a lot of problems, and they all stem from each other. But I mean, if I took a drink, if I left this podcast tonight and I got really drunk, right, and I ended up next week on the street drunk as fuck with my big ass ugly beard growing and shit, no one would, and no one noticed. Like, would you notice that I was Henry on the podcast, or I was just a drunk guy who doesn't deserve shit? Because if I do get fucked up on liquor, that's right where I'm headed. I'm gonna end up dead on the street, and nobody's going to sing any fucking songs anymore. But would I have deserved that, or would I have deserved to be listened to? When? Before
You
that
deserve to
happens?
be listened
When
to.
I take a drink? So I hate the fact that people immediately jump to that, and it's 9 times out of 10 people say that maybe they want to be there, deserve to be there, and I'll go back to chips being $7. And what is the fucking point at this point?
Well, so for instance, there are certain things that people go through in life that prohibits them from interacting in society in a way that puts them on their feet, right? And one of the things is addiction. And I haven't personally struggled with substance abuse addiction, um but I know, like, we treat people with more humanity in other countries when they struggle from that. And not just the people struggling from it, but we remember that they have families. So something that they do in some other countries is they make sure that the addict has housing. They supply the addict with drugs and help them weed off if that's what they choose to do, but they don't stigmatize or ostracize them for having an addiction. And the substance abuse rates are lower. They make sure they have food. They make sure their kids are cared for. They make sure their kids are cared for while they're there, while their parents get to be there. We need to start seeing people and treating people with humanity again, because I know what it's like to have an entire world turn its back on you, or maybe not turn its back on you, but look at you and put input about what you should or should not be doing. But who the fuck is laying next to me at night?
I mean, I don't believe that forced court order recovery programs are incredibly successful. I think that's counterintuitive to the addict. If you want to go through a dehumanizing process, for sure, get get go to court over addiction.
Oh, I'm not
It
talking
fucking
about the
sucks.
way it's done in this country. I'm talking about the way that we
Oh, I
treat
know.
people in other countries
Oh, I know. I got
that
friends
have
in
a more
Germany and shit
progressive,
like that,
not
and they're
just
pretty.
criminalizing it, but actually loving the people and seeing the value in the people and hope for the people that are struggling
Right. I mean,
and
there
their
should be some kind
families.
of
Like, for
what you
instance,
call some.
people who are against what are called so and so, so-called government handouts, right? That's what they love to call them. They don't call it that when the banks get it. They don't call it that when big corporations get it. But when individuals get it, it's a handout. Well, even if you think that you're handing an individual a handout, what about their children? What about their children who didn't ask for the parents to be struggling with what their parents are struggling with?
I mean,
What about those kids that get left behind?
why are we fighting about handouts when corporations are throwing out millions and millions of tons of food across the
I
country?
agree. I agree. But because they're afraid of being sued, and I think capitalism to an extreme can be just as oppressive as the governments that we call oppressive.
I mean, we throw out clothes too. Those don't really
We're
expire.
very wasteful. We're incredibly wasteful. And the
I don't think
reality
there's.
is there are some grassroots people, even out of Michigan. There are some and I don't know if this is a Michigan based place, so I'll scratch that. But there are grassroots people all over the country that are doing these things, and I talk about it. But the reality is, my depression, my isolation has been so bad, that I can't even bring myself to that table, because it does rock your confidence when everybody turns their back on you and deems you the problem. And not only deems you the problem, but deems you the problem who has somehow been a breach on their peace. And then all of a sudden you don't fucking matter. And it does rock your confidence. When your own family can't show up for you, it changes how you see yourself every single day.
Kimberly was trying to talk. Oh shit! I got to read this comment from Danny. Most people want to be seen as kind, respectful, trustworthy, and reliable individuals, essentially someone who is genuine, honest, and fosters positive relationships with others, reflecting their personal values and aspirations in their interactions. Key points about how people want to be seen: positive qualities, being perceived as caring, supportive, competent, and having integrity are often desired traits. Authenticity: people generally want to be seen as their true selves without. Now that reads
Pretense.
pretty familiarly.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they
Like
do.
I
But the
said,
thing is it's the wings of, what is the thing? The bird has two sides of wings. I don't know. I am misquoting. But you're right. Yes, most people want to be seen that way. But even people who are helping people supposedly and want to be seen as good are still imposing their own values on another human being, rather than listening to really what is wanted and needed by those individuals. I mean, the hospitals that are out there helping, right? The good ones, the good people are imprisoning people who have some serious issues going on in their lives and just want a seat at the fucking table anyway, or who think outside of the box, or who can't help but have a big fucking mouth and be authentic no matter what the consequences, because your authenticity is not always going to be appreciated by everybody. It's
I
not.
mean, I mean, what's his name? Bundy. He was really authentic,
No,
right?
Bundy was not authentic.
No,
Bundy had a private life
he was
and
good.
a public life. Bundy
He
worked
was
on
good
a
at
rape
playing.
hotline, a suicide hotline. Bundy was one of the good guys. Bundy was a good stepfather and a good partner
At face
because
value.
it worked for him, right? It
Huh.
worked for him. It worked for him to have that public persona. But behind closed doors, down dark alleys. He was a monster. He did
Yeah.
monstrous things. And even he has something to teach society about people.
Yeah. Most
And he
certainly.
wasn't authentic. He played mind games with every interviewer that ever interviewed him. If it was
I was
somebody
joking about
religious,
the authentic.
he'd go after things like the porn. He said it was porn that did this to him. No, he was a fucked up individual who wanted to do fucked up things to innocent women.
My point is that it's hard. How do we cross-examine everybody? Can we do that? How do we, or do we need to? Because I don't know, maybe Bundy happens like that. It's hard when dealing with humans. I believe that's why bigger, like, where do you have to go, Gilly, if you're homeless? Where do you go? Where do I go? The homeless shelter? How many are there? Can we go into churches anymore, like in the movies? Like, you come into the church out of the rain and you kneel down on the floor and the father's there and you sleep in the parish, or are they just going to kick you right the fuck out immediately? I mean, there's a lot of
Well,
churches out
that's
there.
the
I don't
thing.
know.
If you don't have your own dirt, if you don't have your own land, because I don't. And at any minute, anything I say or do can and will be held against me. And
Yeah.
that is
Land
not a way to get out of survival mode. And in survival mode, it is hard to be creative. It is hard to be a groundbreaker. And there are the exceptions. There are some amazing exceptions, but I guarantee you will find that they have family, that they have friends, that they have people working with them. But what do you do when the whole world says it's hard to look at you? I don't
more
know.
co-ops. I don't. I heard something, and it's kind of harsh, but something helped me a little bit. And someone asked me, "Hey, are you a liability or an asset?" And I had
Can
to
I
think
say
about that
something
for a
real
little bit.
quick?
Yes, Kimberly.
Change it or be the change. Change
Hmm.
that or be the change. You only can control self. I don't know how you allow, I mean, I get it, but you can free yourself from that because what meant for you shall be for you. You can be the difference. You only can control that though.
But you
Anything
can't
outside of
always control
that,
it. There are laws. There are laws.
but
I mean, once you get into the
you don't
hospital
have to
system,
allow
they have
that
control.
agreement.
You have to agree to it sometimes. You contractually have to agree to it. And if you don't contractually agree to it, you're seen as a non compliant client and you
You
are
can
held
free
down and
yourself
you are
of
given
that
drugs that
reality.
you don't want to be on.
Learn that lesson to free yourself of that reality. You're here for a
It
reason.
takes
I
a
don't know what it
community,
is.
though. It takes a community. It takes a community.
Build
It
it.
takes a whole community. A
Build it.
person cannot do it on their own.
Be what you're searching.
I'm
Be the
trying.
difference and change. Then keep
I'm
doing it.
I'm
That's
I'm
all you can
here.
do.
I'm
That's
trying.
that's all you can do.
I'm
Anything
speaking
outside of
my
that,
mind.
you can't do anything else. And I'm proud of you, honestly, because you remember when I first come up into to you and I said to you, you want to join this? You didn't really want to join it, kind of, because I was like, because you didn't have a voice, but you had a voice. You just didn't think that, like whatever.
I didn't know how to use it. I forgot how to use it because it had been
There you
silenced a lot.
go. You grew. I'm proud of you.
But but that doesn't it doesn't change the fact that there are days that I
I know.
cannot get myself out of bed.
I
It doesn't
appreciate it.
change the fact that even though I know I need to be in community, somebody's going to have to come and grab my fucking hand and take me out there. There are I need family. Some of us do. Some of us need to be seen outside of our circumstances.
The unseen. Hmm. Crazy.
This has been a
But
wild podcast.
I love you for doing this podcast. I love you for letting me be on it.
I love you for you.
Even though I probably get myself into trouble every single fucking week I open my mouth on here.
I love
It's
me
all
from you.
right. It's all right.
I love the position that you're putting yourself in my life.
I can put myself in all kinds of positions. Just kidding.
And I love you for that. And I love you for you putting you in mind.
Me too.
Better always exists when you give it attention.
But I do. I hope I get out of this because there are people who need a voice and who need somebody who's not afraid to fucking use it.
Listen, we
And
are the
I've been
People's
real afraid to
Podcast.
use it for multiple reasons because what I found are people in power maintain that power and they do not give it up easily.
It's your life.
It's not just my life, it's my kids' lives. And
Facts. But there was a lesson that you learned for that, though. Because everything.
but my kids shouldn't have had to go through what they went through, what they're going
right,
through.
and be the difference and show the change and speak on that. Write a
I
novel
do
or
this to
something.
reach more people.
I, there's got to be a support for that because it is mental health. Mental health does matter.
Induced. An abuser can induce mental health issues or what looks like and presents as mental health issues. And then all of a sudden, even though he's the fucking Bundy in the fucking house, he's the saint on the streets. And you're the one who's deemed crazy, whatever the fuck that means. But when the world is mad, if you're not mad, there's something off.
Period. Period. I feel that.
Oh.
You know what
Sorry,
I love
I probably
about?
didn't make any friends this week, but I'm okay with that because I didn't make any friends being quiet either.
Gilly, you know what I love? You know what I learned? Is that I allowed the universe to control. And I only worry about what I can.
Here's the thing. When I spoke up on behalf of my kids ended up being in trouble.
I feel that.
And so it's made it real hard to go back and do it by myself.
I feel that.
And I can't do it by myself.
Nope. So be what you're searching for.
Trying.
And that's all you can do. Anything outside of that, but give yourself grace and love the fact that you are mindful that you're trying. Because there's a lot of people out here that aren't.
Well, I'll tell you what, it doesn't look like I'm trying most days. Most days it looks like I'm just waiting to die, and some days I am.
I get you.
Small victories.
It's small victories for sure, but it's you're learning, and that's the process that everybody has to grow through.
What I hope is that society comes to a point where they realize that they need to grow and learn too, that we collectively need to grow and learn as a society, that it is not on the individual, that we will not make it anywhere divided, that all this dogma, and dogma doesn't just come through religion. Dogma comes through philosophy. Dogma comes through schools of thought in the medical industry, in the incarceration industry, and they are industries. They are for-profit industries, and we need to take profit out of things where people need help.
Profit needs to go to the people. The people need to start profiting.
Yeah.
They do.
And sometimes, even though I know I have access to people who are doing the things that I talk about, but I'm telling you, my confidence, if somebody doesn't come and take me by the hand and say, hey, and there are other people that need someone to take them by the hand and say, hey, I see you, and I know you're not going to come here, so I'm going to come get you. You are not disturbing my peace.
Period.
And I'm not the only one. There are millions.
Period.
And the saddest is when they're children.
Can't control that. It is
because people can think I'm a piece of shit from morning until night. I really don't give a fuck. But my children aren't. My children aren't. and they need me to have support. Other people's children need their parents to have support.
Mhm.
I'll be right back.
Mhm. I agree. I agree. I agree. I appreciate you. You know that, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
appreciate you too.
I value you. I see the value in you.
Give me some of what you got, 'cause
What you
I
mean?
need
I love
that in my
it.
life. I need that in my life tonight.
No, listen. It's so extreme. I don't want to put myself in trouble or nothing. But my
Love, you
sister's
got love.
tripping.
You
My
got love. You
my
got
sister's
family.
tripping. Listen, my sister's tripping. I made this cannabis oil. She gave me permission to make it here,
Hmm.
and I made it with, I don't know, maybe hmm, maybe I don't know, maybe little under little under an ounce of marijuana with a bunch of coconut oil and olive oil,
That sounds good.
and I cooked it so much that it fried it a little, right?
Yeah.
I like overheated it a little on purpose to dry it out more. And I put a little bit of probably like a half a cup of it inside some more coconut oil and 2 cups of water. Put some vegetables in there. And I can't wrap my head around this, but and so I put cheese, vegetables and stuff, and I cooked it, and I put more coconut oil with it, and some soy sauce, and some mushrooms, and broccoli, cauliflower, carrots, like mixed vegetables, medleys. You know what I'm talking about?
Hmm.
She's called the ambulance because she feels nauseous, but she took 3 steroid shot packets today, and she's supposed to take 5. But she's fighting the flu also,
Well, that's not good.
so she's got anxiety too.
Well, sometimes THC people can have an adverse effect to too high levels of THC.
Uh-huh.
It can make them nauseous. So it's called THC poisoning.
But also, what do you think about steroids? What are steroids? What's one of the side effects from steroids?
Well, it depends on the use of them, but I know, like, for instance, steroids are sometimes given for autoimmune disorders. Steroids are sometimes given for asthma and things like
For
that.
the flu. For the flu.
I don't like them because I just worry I'm gonna blow up like a balloon, and it's a vain thing. But
And you don't
um,
think the side effects is nausea from steroids?
I don't know. I know that the aggression, a hyper heart rate, things like that. But I'm not a doctor.
Anxiety.
I'm not a doctor. I am not an MD of any sort.
No, I worked in the medical field for 19 years though,
Well,
and
I helped
nursing.
follow up with my kids' treatment, and I learned everything that I needed to know, at home to follow up with the experts. But
No, but listen, and I'm a herbalist, okay? I'm just saying this, and I'm a herbalist, and the reason why I'm saying this live right now is because my sister just went by ambulance.
is she all right? Is she gonna
I
be all right? Do you need to
She's
go?
just vomiting, but her anxiety was getting the best of her. So she's also having like a panic
she's
attack.
a little delirious too because she was under the impression that I was in the room when she ate that food. I wasn't up there. Cameron even confirmed it. I was down here on the phone with my kids when she ate that.
Uh-huh. She
Well,
ate
you
it.
better be careful that she goes in with anxiety and comes out with just anxiety, and that she doesn't end up hospitalized with 6 different conditions because they decided they can make some money off of prescribing her some shit.
She ain't gonna fall for that. I don't know. Maybe. Oh, yeah, I don't care. Ain't my problem.
Well, it
Hey,
doesn't
I didn't put
matter.
a gun to her
Sometimes
head
you
and
got to
tell
go to
her to
court.
eat it.
And the lawyers work with the judges, work with the mental health professionals, work with the nurses, work with the doctors, work with the psychiatrists. That's
She's
what I.
for herself.
That's
I
why I'm reading
ain't
about Artie Lang
Ain't my problem.
because I think there's other ways to address things, and I'm real glad that somebody told me about them.
I'm just telling you what's going on right now with me.
I'm sorry.
I'm not. It's crazy.
That's
She's 40 something. I didn't tell her to eat it. I just said,
I
here.
hope she's okay.
She did that. She ate that.
Yeah.
I didn't force her. I went downstairs.
No, but is she going to be all right? Does she need
I think
somebody
so.
there with her? Like, I think that because of my experiences, I don't think anybody should go to the hospital alone. I think
goes to the
everybody
hospital
should have
alone all the
somebody
time.
there as an advocate.
No, she goes to the hospital alone all the time. She just came back from the
Yeah.
hospital alone. And she got the flu. That's why she was taking the
She didn't
steroids.
want nobody to go with her.
She don't want nobody to go with her.
Well, I guess I just
Well-
don't trust those places anymore. And
Was it indica or sativa?
Sativa.
Was she stressed
I told her
already
that.
before?
Anxiety. Yes, she was.
If
but
she was
lost her
if she was
wallet.
if she was stressed beforehand, sativa is not the weed to deal with when you're stressed. Period.
Yeah.
It will send you into an anxiety.
That's what she's having, an anxiety attack. That's what I told her.
No.
So SGF, do you think that it works differently? If you're, for instance, if you have ADHD, do you think sativa has the opposite effect, the same way stimulants have the opposite effect on people? You know, typically people with ADHD are prescribed stimulants. So do you think?
Yeah.
And I'm genuinely asking because I don't know. I can never fucking tell which ones work for me and which ones don't. I don't pay that much attention to myself.
I'm ADHD. I'm ADHD. Sativa helps me focus, clarity. Sometimes it might have me talking a little too much or whatever, but it helps with the focus and the clarity of what I got going on. If I'm super stressed out, I won't even touch my sativa. Like I will go the whole day without smoking before I touch that sativa. And the indica actually has the chemical balance to when you are stressed, it shortens that stress moment. Like they will tell you, like if you go to a therapy or something like that, they will tell you, like if you're stressed, stay away from sativa. Like you will drive yourself crazy. Well, I see comments all the time on a certain page I'm on where people talk about they had to pull over because they're like, oh, I never smoked sativa ever again in my life. It had me on the side of the highway, da 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 da. And I was like, was you stressed? Man, hell yeah, everybody at work pissed me off. Yeah, you should have never even smoked that or whatever. I know you was thinking you couldn't wait to get in the car to smoke, but you should have never touched that.
So maybe I'm the oddball because for me, indica, like if it's not something that's mixed, but an indica dominant, but something that's just straight indica, like it makes me tired and it makes me want to eat, and I'm tired and want to eat all the time anyway. I don't need extra help with that. So indica tends to stress me the fuck out because it just amplifies all the things that I'm trying not to be. Unless I just want to go to sleep, but then you also have problems with when I went to the hospital, they told me I had a cannabis addiction. I've only smoked marijuana probably 5 times in the last couple of months. And I don't know how I have a cannabis addiction now, but that's what I mean. They get you into the system and they would rather me on pills that make the pharmaceutical companies money and make the doctors money for prescribing it then they do the things that actually could help.
I like
My
the
opinion.
effects of both. I like both of them, but what I don't like, I've realized after getting sober, is I don't like being high. So I guess it's kind of pertinent to how I'm feeling at that moment, but either one of them can help me out as long as I don't smoke too much of it.
So
I
do you
find
think that
indica
it
helps
should
me
be
eat.
you think that it should be legalized across the board, across the country? I do, personally,
Weed.
but
I never thought it should ever be illegal. Why
yeah,
the fuck is alcohol legal and why is weed not?
I agree. I think alcohol, there tends to be a lot more fights than a bunch of people sitting around smoking weed.
It's the reason they
You're not
called it
getting
a
rid of
peace pipe.
alcohol. It's our view of it. Oh, sorry, SGF. I
But
didn't hear you there.
they haven't figured out how to make
Wait,
enough money off of it yet, I suppose.
what were you saying?
I said
SGF?
it's
No.
a reason that they call it a peace pipe.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Period.
I'm looking for some peace.
And
People worry about the
alcohol
wrong thing. I'm so crazy.
they
I'm
call it
crazy.
spirits.
Listen, there you go. It's the
Yeah.
energy. That stuff's heavy.
Well, I hope your sister's all right.
What happened?
Yeah.
Me too. At the end of the day, I did not force her to eat it.
And I will definitely talk to your niece.
She's 40 something. Like,
Yeah,
I
me
didn't do
too.
the
But
big girl
sometimes we're
sisters
all
that you
just
say,
a bunch
hey,
of
eat
grown
all
ass
that.
angry kids.
Huh?
I said, but sometimes we're a bunch of grown ass angry kids. All of us.
I love my sister and I don't care. She'll be alright. If not, hey, they ain't the first time I tried taking her out. When we were younger, I took and smashed her head in the spigot. We couldn't take a bath together anymore.
Jeez.
Oh.
I love my sister. Henry,
I love my aunt.
Henry can relate to that.
A little bit.
I container can.
I've never tried to take nobody out.
No, neither. Not intentionally. My intent wasn't that. She wouldn't give me the bowl. I'm the oldest. She needs to learn. When I want the bowl, you give it to me because you had it long enough. You got to
The
share.
bowl? The
We took a
bowl?
bath together. We always took a bath together, and she wouldn't give me the bowl. And I
Oh,
was like,
bowl.
yeah, we had a cup and a
Like to
bowl.
dump water?
BOWL.
I thought you
Yeah.
meant
To
VO,
dump.
like a small rodent. Field mouse. It's a
Like a
vole.
butter dish.
Okay.
You feel
Just to
me?
clear that up.
Like a butter dish. Whatever. Okay.
Well, my sister hasn't even talked to me in like 6, 7
No,
years.
no. Listen, we're close, but listen. I have a story to tell real quick. She wouldn't give it to me, so I was like, it's my turn. I let you have it long enough. I have this little cup. I can't really pour much over me. We're sharing the same water. You're nasty. I don't really want to bathe with you. Give me the bigger bucket now so I can get this over with. You're nasty. So we're bathing together, and she was testing me because I will eat her at the end of the day. So
How many people have you threatened to eat on the podcast tonight? Maybe
her.
that's what our next podcast needs to
Oh
be
yeah,
about.
my nephews and nieces.
When you cannot stop having cannibal fantasies.
That's the fat girl syndrome.
What?
Eating people.
Man.
Oh, man.
I just fucking ate a whole big ass bowl of cereal because I'm stressed. Like,
You were funny.
that's the only eating I'm doing. I'm not
Humans are funny. Woo! Well,
They're interesting.
I'm glad I always can control myself.
I think there's something therapeutic about being able to lose control.
Yeah, because you grow from it.
Well, I mean, not lose control to another person.
No, I'm
You
just saying
lose
in
control
general.
of yourself.
Sometimes you gotta be uncomfortable, become comfortable again, and realize you allow it, you accept. Stop beating yourself up over it. Stop allowing it, and get healthy boundaries and grow and learn that lesson so you can free yourself from yourself.
So here's the
Or
comparison I make about the whole allowing it thing.
okay,
First of all, people who don't respect boundaries don't respect boundaries. You can set them all you want, and if they have some sort of power over you, whether it's power over whether or not you have a place to live, power over whether or not you eat, power over what they do to your children, then are you allowing it? Because okay, but here's the analogy. If and I think I've told you about it, Henry, but if you see somebody sitting on the street with a gaping hole in their leg, right? And they put their shield down for a minute. They have a shield that normally protects it, but they put their shield down for a minute because they're tired. And somebody walks up and kicks them in the leg where that gaping hole is. Did they allow it for getting tired and putting their shield down? Or is that person fucked up for seeing a vulnerability and deciding to kick them?
I mean, well,
We put
obviously they're fucked up.
so
What do
much
we do
emphasis
next?
on the victim. And I think the emphasis needs to go back to the people who are hurting people intentionally. That's the real fucked upness. That says you've lost your humanity. So instead of worrying about the people who are saying, hey, I'm hurt, they hurt me, and worrying about whether or not they allowed it, how about we start talking about the people who see somebody vulnerable and say, yeah, that's my target. That's where we need to fix things.
I think
My
we're
opinion.
working on it. I think as a society we're fighting it, and it's kind of a catch-22 at this point. But we are working on it. But we'll see. We'll see.
Well, goals, right?
can
Always.
I read that comment?
What's that? Tyrese Davis, how y'all doing?
Okay, then this one.
What's up, Tyrese? Lose yourself. Danny Holmes, where you at?
Oh, but he was like, lose yourself. That's what you do. You lose yourself.
Sometimes we got to help loose other people, though. We got to take the responsibility. You know, I'm not a religious person at all. Not going to go into my faith because my faith is all across the board and in different things. And sometimes I don't think I have faith in much anything at all. But the reality, but there's, you know, a story in the Bible. One of the first stories in the Bible is about Cain and Abel, right? And the question of that story, because I think it's allegory, is, am I my brother's keeper? Yes. I think the moral of the story is yes, we are our brother's keeper. We do have a responsibility towards one another, and there are times that people are not going to be able to pick up the slack, and those that can have a responsibility. With privilege should come responsibility. With power should come even greater responsibility.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff in the Bible, right? But
I
I
look at
really
it as
like.
allegory. Do I think there was a Cain and Abel? I don't know. But I think that it's an important story because I think it asks an important question. I think it asks an important question about how we're supposed to live with one another. Are you your brother's keeper? I think so.
I like it. I like it put better by Samuel L. Jackson.
Because he puts everything better. I'm not going to try to compete with Samuel L. Jackson. What the fuck you think I am?
You gotta ask yourself, are you the shepherd? I like his little question he asked himself at the end of Pulp Fiction about that, and it's very pertinent to how I've felt about certain things.
Repeat it.
So that's what I was back to. Repeat it.
Yeah.
I probably butcher it. I got all the pieces there. I do like listening to it though.
So, then butcher it.
I don't want to butcher it. Not really. Actually, my ADHD keeps looking at the clock going, it's 9:50, and I'm at this point, usually in the podcast, I'm ready to tear all my skin off and roll around on the floor.
How you feel now?
Not classy.
You better be careful because Kim will eat you.
Uh-huh. I've noticed.
He already knows.
No, I am not in my office. I have a lot of packing to do still if I want the rest of the week to go well. I don't have an office anymore, actually. We're working on that.
I love all of you, and I appreciate all of you. And everything happens for a reason. Remember that. And I'm proud of all of you. And peace and love. Peace and love. Peace and love. This was meant to happen. That's why it's happening. Learn the lesson and grow. I'm proud of all of you. Thank you for being part of my tribe.
Thanks for the invitation.
I think that's it. I can't really do that good.
Even though I have this intrinsic belief in me now that everybody's fucking with me, but we can address that another time.
We can, and we shall. Remember that. That'll be our next, not this one, but we'll talk about it.
Specifically, is everybody fucking with Gilly or just in general?
Just in general.
Because I can deal with either.
Peace and love.
I got some arguments for either.
Okay, peace and love. I say
right.
Let's get to the bottom of this one. Unspoken truths that I miss one. Tap into the minds of the people, rather acknowledge before I dismiss one. Atheists, Muslim, Christians, Buddhists, they all got usage. All got perspective, it's a collective. Get to the bottom where the truth is, where the heart's uncovered. Where you detox from all of the lies you smothered. Where them tries could have killed you, but with faith you recover. Yup. Peel off the makeup, we finna take off. Never said it'd be a cakewalk. Meditate till we charged up. Execute goes regardless. Decalcify my pineal. Breaking language barriers, we saw millennials. Planets passing age rotations, down mean we owe. So down mean we know. Sometimes we can be slow, that's why my ears open. Every drop you add could complete the ocean. Speak up, play your part too. Been vulnerable, it's so